That was one of the really interesting claims in the book to me, is this idea that, which does really resonate, that a lot of people don't necessarily really believe these awful ideas about hell and judgment so much as they believe in their belief. I thought that was an
Correct.
especially interesting claim.
Yeah, and some people object to my saying that, but I'm not actually accusing them of any kind of duplicity or stupidity. I think that the way we all do this, not just in matters of religion, but in everything. There are all sorts of things we think we believe because it's sort of the system of ideas that we're working with. But then, when the moment comes that we actually have a sort of crisis, and we say, someone who believes that Thomas Aquinas was right and that the suicide cannot be saved because the last act of his life was an act of murder and with no time for repentance. Then his or her child, say, or someone he or she loves, commits suicide, and one recognizes the despair, the confusion, even the goodness of that person trapped in a state of mind and a condition of soul that he or she cannot escape from. And one realizes, well, wait a minute, this isn't just some, an act like that is not some calculating decision that someone has made as an act of malicious rejection. There's all sorts of realities here that make this an unfree act at some very deep level. And that person immediately intuitive, without any great agony of conscience, without any great wrestling with his or her own convictions, immediately knows that she does not believe for a moment that this person has been plunged into hell by a wrathful God for this act. And at that moment, that person discovers that he or she does not really believe what he believes, or she believes. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it often enough. And I also, even if you don't take it to that point of crisis, I believe that many people I know are quite orthodox, quite normal Christians, even if it's not an issue, even if it's not a matter of as catastrophic as, say, a suicide. These are persons who are quite willing to have children, to raise them in a serene confidence that this is a thing worth doing, though by the system of belief to which they putatively adhere, it would be an act of great cruelty to bring a child into this world because his or her chances aren't that good. I mean, when you add it all up, eternal suffering is a very likely end for any child you bring into this world. Or again, if you really had a compassionate heart and you really truly believed that this was what was at stake, how could you not spend your life in a frantic attempt to save every soul you can, running from one end of the globe to the other, exhausting yourself till, like poor Francis Xavier, you just die for work. And the reason they don't is because in their heart of hearts, they're not cruel, they're not indifferent, they're not callous. They just know that it's hogwash, that they don't have to appease God in that way, because the idea that such a God exists is at some deep level that they're not even necessarily emotionally aware of, let alone conceptually aware of. They know that that's just a sickly fantasy.